What's up, ladies and gentle people? So one of my favorite, most beloved cars has to be the Tesla. As Tesla continues to expand and grow in the electric car market, it leaves many of us wondering, where are electric cars from other car manufacturers? Sure, there's electric cars such as Chevy Bolt, Nissan Leaf, Hyundai Ioniq, to name a few, but we all know how ugly and short-ranged these vehicles are. However, more recently, there has been a multitude of reports online that General Motors is going to be transitioning to all of their vehicles electric by 2023. Could this finally be the dated beginning of a new era in the car industry? My name is Shaky Scrub, and today we are going to look a bit more into this rumor. True versus untrue. Is it true? Is it untrue? Let's find out together. Do it! Before we dive into the amazing wonders of electric cars, I wanted to clear the air on where the first automobile operated by a gasoline engine was created. I've heard from both teachers and mechanics that the first vehicle ever made was the Ford Model T back in 1908. Wrong.
There you go.
By the way, that Model T you just saw hadn't been started in 60 years. Quite a beauty. Back on topic though, the first gasoline-operated vehicle was in fact created in 1886, at least from a patent standpoint. It was invented by Carl Benz. Benz. Mercedes. Benz. Mercedes-Benz. Aha! And that, my people, was a Benz Model 1 you just saw. So here's the difference. The Ford Model T was actually the first car made in an assembly line for the middle-class working man, whereas the Benz Model 1 was the first car to be birthed in the world, at least on record. Sorry for many of you who have been told your entire life that the Model T was in fact the first car ever made. Your universe will now destruct in 3, 2, 1. If we look at the amount of progress that Tesla has made thus far, they've made such a huge impact on the automotive industry and continue to do so with technologies such as autopilot.
Alright, and we are turning.
I've always given much credit to Mercedes-Benz for setting the standard on many technologies that are tried time and time again in vehicles, and I feel like many of the technologies that Mercedes-Benz attempts ends up being a global standard in the automotive industry. Now, I can't leave Packard out of the equation, however. Packard was a car company that operated from 1899 till around 1958, in which Packard merged with Studebaker. Packard was actually the first luxury car that was designed with power door locks and power windows. Now, these two technologies were not invented around the same time, but I felt liable to give credit where credit is due on such major inventions, which are now two standards in all vehicles made today. Focusing back on the Tesla though, I feel the Tesla has become the new Benz or the new Packard of today's automotive industry, which many of the large car makers would not like to admit to or even pay attention to Tesla when it comes to impacting their wallets. I find that Tesla testing and trying the concept of an all-electric car that can get you over 250 miles per charge, on top of Tesla providing charge stations from coast to coast, highway to highway, and store to store, makes Tesla's technology in the automotive business a huge impact that is becoming harder and harder for large car makers to sweep under the carpet. With battery range only increasing more and more over time and other advancements in safety, security, emissions, you name it, these are huge factors that not only for us as passengers, but also for the Earth's environment. It doesn't come too surprising that General Motors would make such a bold and hefty claim to transition over to only making electric cars by 2023. That's not to mention that the federal government does have policies and guidelines which are forcing automakers in the direction that Tesla has headed. 2023, that's only 6 years away from the making of this video. Hey you, Shaky Scrub, this message is for you, me, myself. When you watch this video back in 6 years, remember what you said. Tesla created the standardization for electric cars. There, I said it, and now the universe will explode. What I think is one of the most important factors to look at is how it has been speculated that for every electric car made, that there is a loss in revenue or profit to the big car companies. I'm not sure about you guys and gals out there, but I'm absolutely fine with them taking a hit, or what I would like to call a penalty, for shunning away such manufacturers such as Tesla from selling at car dealers. Dealerships have turned their heads to Tesla for the longest, to the extent which Tesla had to open up their own dealerships just to sell their own vehicle. But looking out into the future, this means that gas stations will need to turn into charging stations, mechanics will need to find new jobs or freshen up their skills in the technology world, and auto parts stores will likely close down many stores or transition the type of products that they sell. Of course, I should preface all of this by saying these types of changes are decades and decades away, thankfully. Now, in case you are wondering why mechanics would be at risk for their jobs, well, it's simple. With electric cars, there are no oil changes, no transmission flushes, no timing chain or belt to maintain, no vacuum lines, no antifreeze, and the list goes on. With the removal of a combustion motor and replacement with an electric motor, things change a lot. This means that the mechanics are going to need experience to work with these type of vehicles, as they have much more sensors and artificial intelligence built into their ECUs, short for engine control unit, or the computer of the vehicle. There even have been occasions in which Tesla pushed out a simple software update just to fix a hardware concern in their vehicles. How incredible is that? Now, there are still some fluids that will exist in an electric car that need to be maintained, such as windshield fluid, battery and motor coolant or lubricant, and brake fluid, possibly even blinker fluid? And of course, you still have all the suspension parts that need to be maintained as well. But if you look underneath the bottom of a Tesla, there's not much under there, since most of the underside is covered up anyway. Now, I know I'm blabbering a lot about Tesla in general, but I do consider them the standard and the forefront of where electric cars need to head in the direction of. For General Motors to make a bold statement of transitioning to electric cars by 2023 is a big deal. Now, I myself personally love my Chevy Malibu, and I can't help but imagine an Impala or a Malibu that is all electric. One which carries the modernized body styles that they have on the market today, along with no combustion motors. Which that does segue us into the pain that I am discussing, which is how ugly electric cars have been from the big automakers. Tesla to me is one of the sharpest and sportiest looking electric cars you can buy today. With all of this kept in mind and the question at hand, is General Motors transitioning to electric vehicles by 2023? And the verdict is... I'm normally used to saying untrue on like 90% of these videos, and the verdict is true. So I think it's also important to preface all of this by stating that making such a big change like this is going to take a lot of time, money, and patience, to be honest. GM has claimed 2023, but we have to question, where do they start in this process? As far as I'm concerned, I would imagine this process to begin outside of the US of A and slowly make its way into the market here in the States shortly thereafter. Again, there has to be charging stations available coast to coast and many of resources available for the future of ZEVs, which is short for zero emission vehicles. If you want my opinion, Chevy, Ford, Toyota, Honda, Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Volkswagen, Range Rover, Acura, Volvo, Audi, BMW, Cadillac, Infiniti, Hyundai, Lincoln, Mitsubishi, Mercedes-Benz, and Subaru, just to name a few, you guys should take the advice from a company that is doing an amazing job in the electric car business. Stop by Tesla's office someday. That is all the time we have for this video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for future videos like this one. And if you would always like to be informed when a new video has arrived on the channel, be sure to click that little bell next to the subscription button and adjust your notification settings accordingly. Until next time, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace!
Ah!